Hey you guys! So we're gonna have a Jesus moment today, and I have some questions from Patreon that I'm gonna read, and then we're gonna get started. And so we're just gonna see where this goes, okay? So I'm gonna start by reading these questions, and then we'll take the next step. All right. So I would like to know what messages could come through Jesus about all of these soul changes that so many people are experiencing. From these heavy energy shifts to soul fragmenting, soul mirroring, to this growth and expansion and ascension process that seems to be happening with so many people, because I am feeling and hearing a lot about Jesus lately, and I would like to know what his take is on all of this. So we're definitely going to get connected with Jesus and explore Jesus's message on the ascension energies and the ascension process. And I think Jesus is a great consciousness to connect with on this topic. Absolutely. Now, there's several more questions here that I'm going to read to you guys, and then we're gonna get going on this. Okay. All right. So I would love to ask Jesus what his experience was like to balance his divinity with the physical experience of being human. I know it is something I definitely struggle with on a personal level. I find myself wondering if the Son of God incarnated here on earth, what that would have really been like. Was he born knowing this? Did he ever question it? He was human, right? Did he experience all the emotions of humanity? Shame, doubt, sadness, anger, frustration? We are all divine beings in human bodies, and I just wonder about his take on the human experience. Okay, I super love all of this. I love all of this. I already have so many ideas, but I'm gonna actually just connect with Jesus and let him answer the questions, okay? So I'm gonna relax here. All right, so Jesus and human ascension, Jesus and the energies right now, and then Jesus' experience as being Jesus on earth. Okay. So I'm looking at a heart, and the heart has lots of knives stabbed in it in all different directions, many knives stabbed into it. And I feel a lot of pain in my heart, and I feel sadness. I even feel heaviness in my heart, and I wonder when the pain will go away. I wonder when the knives will be removed. I experience this echo of the pain in my heart, the pain in my heart, the pain in my heart, the pain in my heart. And the echo just keeps going on and on and on for all eternity. But we're looking at daggers and knives being thrown into a heart, being stabbed into a heart, and they're still lodged in the heart itself. And how many of us feel like daggers have been thrown into our own heart? How many of us feel like we're still carrying those daggers and those wounds? How many of us? He's creating the revelation, the reality that we're all a part of each other. Jesus too knows what this feels like. And Jesus too is a part of every single one of us, and we are also a part of him. And we are also a part of his own pathway. And we are all experiencing burdens within our heart. He too experienced burdens within his heart. The Son of God, yes, experienced burdens within his heart. You too are the son and daughter of God. Do you not experience burdens within your heart? He shows us an image of a child, and the child has a heart full of daggers. The child has white blonde hair, and there's sort of a white light or a glow to the face. The child is crying and looking down. It's sort of a rocky surface. Their rocks are white in color, and there's little tufts of grass that grows in between the rocks. And Jesus is standing here, and Jesus touches sort of the throat or the face, the chin of the child, and gently, encourages the child to raise the face, to look upward, to not look downward, but to look upward. And Jesus is the sunlight that is shining down upon the face of this child. Jesus is asking us how we can work with him, for him to carry our burdens. So in a way, this is a complex message. He's asking the child without language, without words, without saying anything at all. He's encouraging the child to not carry this burden alone. That Jesus is here to help carry your burdens. He actually is a sacrificial soul. His spiritual essence, his divine essence, is a sacrificial soul. So he plays the role of helping to carry the burdens of others. And he does that with joy. That is his creation. That is his identity. That is his reason for being. That is his God essence. That is who he is. That's what makes Jesus special. That's what makes Jesus who Jesus is. That doesn't make Jesus more special than you, or more special than me, or more special than this child. That's what makes Jesus who Jesus is. And that's what when Jesus is in balance, right? The balance of Jesus' consciousness is this. The child is ashamed or afraid, does not want the heart to be exposed to Jesus. And some of those daggers the child had to put into its own heart. And some of those daggers the child had actually thrown into somebody else's heart. And the child is in shame of this and cries and says, I'm not worthy, Jesus, of you to help me carry these burdens that are my own. They're my own creation. So I'm not worthy of your help. These are my own burdens. These are my own creation. I need to carry them myself. Again, we are seeing the reality that this child is also a part of Jesus, is also a part of you, is also a part of me, is also a part of God. So there's something to the reality that I, Abby, am carrying this child's burdens just as much as Jesus, just as much as you, just as much as God. We actually are carrying every single one of each other's burdens. So the knives and daggers in your heart, I'm carrying a version of that in my own heart. The version that is you in my heart, and my heart in your heart. And that's why it's so important that we help each other. But this here is about Jesus's message, okay? So let's see what happens next. Jesus asks me, how can I help this child to let go of the attachment to their own choices, their own suffering, their own pain? How do I help this child to understand that I'm here to help and I am not judging your choices? I'm aware that you threw some of those daggers into somebody else's heart. I am aware how you have been self-punishing and throwing daggers into your own heart. I am aware of all of this and I'm not judging you. In fact, I love you for your experiences that make you dynamic, that make you a strong soul, that are a blessing to the universe. I love you. There's something important about us all finding the Jesus within our own heart, and to allow the Jesus within us to heal our hearts and to not feel shame about that. That's Jesus's knack. That's what Jesus is good at. It's okay to ask the Jesus within, hey, I'm really struggling with this in my life right now and I just don't know what to do. Jesus is ready to help you, is ready to help you carry the burdens through the challenges you're facing in your own life. And you don't have to feel alone. You can feel loved. You can feel carried. Are you strong enough to ask Jesus for help? There's a long silence. I feel alone. I feel alone. I experience myself weightless and I'm floating in it's a darkness, but there's also a cloudy haze to it. I don't know where I'm going. And sometimes I just want to sleep through the entire experience. Or I want to pretend that life is not like this. Or I want to participate in some experience that takes me away from reality. I don't want to feel grounded in this moment. I don't want to face this moment. I don't want to be here. Help me find something, some way out. Jesus asks me if I think he ever had a feeling like this in his life as Jesus on earth. If he too wanted out, if he too didn't want to face his own reality, if he too avoided being grounded. He says, I was human, just like you. Don't we all have moments where we feel weakness, where we feel we want to escape? How strong are you to conquer the weakness? How strong are you to choose to be grounded and to face what is in front of you instead of cowering, hiding, running away, choosing escape outlets? It is not hard. It was not easy. He's showing me how vulnerable we all feel. He felt facing realities in his own life, and how much courage it takes to become grounded enough to face those realities. And he is not judge. Some souls are afraid. Some souls run away. Some souls accuse others for their own shortcomings. Some souls take the dirty route in order to save themselves. That's fear. He has no judgment of these souls. He understands what it is like to be afraid, to want to run away sometimes, and the courage it takes to not run away, the courage it takes to stand your ground and to love every single person in front of you, even the ones that would rip you apart, to love them too. Are you strong enough to love those souls? Are you courageous enough? He feels so much sorrow in his heart to talk about this because it's so hard. Because the daggers in the heart can be so many. And the misunderstanding and the fear in the human race creates monsters of us all. And sometimes it creates heroes. Sometimes the love is strong enough to conquer the fear. Everything is relaxing. Jesus and I are talking about something I was thinking about earlier. I was thinking about dragons, and if I would channel a dragon or if I would channel Jesus. And maybe I'll just do something wild and we'll channel Jesus the dragon. Because the reality is, we are a part of everything. And Jesus is also a dragon. As Jesus is also a fairy. As Jesus is also a tree. As Jesus is also his own planet. As Jesus is also a part of everything in creation. As I am, as you are, as we all are. So is Jesus God's Son, the one and only. Jesus is everything. Jesus is a part of every alien being, every human being, every grain of sand, every grain of salt in the ocean, every flower, every bird that is singing. Jesus is a part of everything, is a part of me, is a part of you. And he's talking to me about Jesus the dragon. So let's just see. Jesus shows me himself as a man, much like we would see Jesus, his appearance as a human. And he shows me a mighty dragon that is behind him. And I feel Jesus' essence, and then I feel the essence of the dragon, and they feel different. The dragon seems larger. It feels like it has more impact, more energy to share, and more intensity. And the human Jesus, the emanation is reserved, is patient, is deep in contemplation, with emotions, with perspective, with identity, is almost like a philosopher in his own right, but emotionally deep, actually very deep within emotions and heart, very deep in that way, and very patient, very, very kind. It's his deep understanding about love that gives him the strength to stand and be grounded and to face what happens next. It's the love that gives him the strength. The dragon feels already powerful. It feels already full of self-awareness of its own identity. I am a dragon, I am powerful. Jesus, the human, feels so complex between thoughts and emotions and feelings and physicality and soul, all these complex versions of identity, and trying to decide, who am I? The question, who am I? The dragon already is self-aware or self-defined. It's sort of like the bird has the instinct, the worm has the instincts, the dolphin has an instinct. There's something about the instincts that come from animals or nature, where the human is so self-analyzing, is afraid, is courageous, is full of love, is weak sometimes, is so dynamic, is so many different feelings, is so many different identities it's working with all at once, is very complex, is a very complex creation. It's sort of, he's showing me a red cardinal in a tree. We know what to expect from that cardinal. We know what to expect from that cardinal's children, and its children, and its children, and its children. We know what to expect from that cardinal. But we don't know what to expect from that human, or that human's children, or that human's children's children. So we don't know what to expect from the human, but we do know what to expect from that cardinal. And we do know what to expect from that dolphin. And dolphins are complex creatures too. But there's something consistent about their personality, about their behaviors that we can count on. With the human, we don't know what to expect. And he shows me that this dragon here too, this dragon has, there's something that we know to expect from this dragon. I experienced dragons as having diverse personalities, but he is showing me this dragon essence as being similar to a cardinal or a dolphin or a bear. There's something we can expect, something in the behavior that we can kind of guess, where we know what their pattern is. And the human, we don't. We just don't. He shows me that he is more complex as Jesus the human than he is as Jesus the dragon. And there's more value to him sharing the message with humanity today as Jesus the human than as Jesus the dragon. And he smiles at me. And it's like, well, I kind of just like thinking of you as a dragon. Because I need diversity. Desperately need diversity. He's like, he points at me and he says, there's a human being, but we don't know what to expect from this human being. This human being needs Jesus to be a dragon, where another human being needs Jesus to be a man, where another human being needs Jesus to be an alien, where another human being needs Jesus to be the Son of God. And we don't know what to expect. Every human being has a complex, diverse need. And how do we bring each human being into balance? It is their choice, he says. He brings it back to the child that is resisting the unconditional love. It is this child's choice. I can't force this child to ask for help. I can't force this child to love itself. I can't force this child to forgive itself for having thrown those daggers. And this child is me, is you, is everybody here on the planet. We're all children, and we are all making mistakes, and we're all learning from them. And we all have weaknesses, we all have fears, and we're all learning more about love each and every day. He's giving us an image of inner strength, of courage, of the ability to feel grounded, to not run away, to face the experiences. It takes a lot of courage. Allow the love within yourself to remind you of who and what you are, of the Jesus within you. Now stand strong in what you believe in. Now stand strong against what you fear. Don't run away from what you fear. Face what you fear. Love will tell you every single time, you have the strength, you have the power, you are a son, you are a daughter of God. You have the love of Jesus within you. You have the love of your own divine essence within you. You have the love of all creation within you. You have the power. Be the power. Be the love of all. Everything is relaxing now. There's something new. I feel myself as a child, and I feel a lot of sadness, and I'm hiding my sadness from the world. I don't want my parents to know, I don't want my friends to know that I'm sad inside. I want them to know that I'm happy. I don't want them to carry my burden. The sadness is something I have to deal with alone, something I have to deal with for myself. It's not something that they need to help me with. And this child then goes through life carrying the burden of sorrow for years and years and years. It never exposes that to anybody. Does not feel it is anybody's place to help this one carry their burden of sorrow. Jesus watches this one. And asks this one, let me carry your sadness today. I can help you. I tell Jesus I am strong enough to let you help me. I am strong enough to admit that I too struggle with my own burdens. I'm strong enough to lift my head up. I am strong enough to ask you for help. And I realize that when I say that, I don't want Jesus to hurt the way I have hurt. And if Jesus carries my burdens, then Jesus will be in pain and I will not be. And Jesus says with a smile that there is no pain that he cannot carry. And he shows me that pain too is part of the illusion. So when he carries our pain, he is helping us to let go of our attachments to the illusion. He shows me the world is full of love if only we will choose to see it, feel it, allow it in. Are you strong enough to allow Jesus to help you? Are you strong enough to... It's to face yourself openly and honestly. And now to speak openly and honestly with Jesus. With shame, with embarrassment, with self-hatred, with all the emotions that are human and all the reasons why we try to point fingers at other people when it's really us that needs to work on ourselves, or it's really us dealing with something we can't understand. Depression. Why am I depressed? Why is my life like this? Open, honest communication. Facing yourself and now asking for help. He shows me that Jesus is not just a spirit. Consciousness is not just a reflection of a man who once lived on earth, is also a reflection of every face on this planet. Is within your mom and dad, is within your friends and family, is even within your pets. It's within that voice on the other end of a phone call. He shows me some people have the strength to call the 800 numbers, 800 bets off, or the 800 numbers for women in abusive relationships, for teenagers that are thinking about suicide, and for people with gambling addictions. Some people have the strength to call that number, and on the other end is Jesus. Jesus is in every single one of us, and is within you too. He wants you to think of a time where you have been Jesus for another human being, and you felt a glow inside your heart, and maybe you wouldn't admit that what you did had meant that much to that person, but it's okay to admit that you really did help that person, and to feel proud of yourself, to be the Jesus for that person in their life. Jesus is smiling. He is peaceful and patient. I feel complete with the conversation. Re-experiencing the questions, I feel that this message does provide an answer. Alright, I want to thank you all for watching. If you're interested in exploring a psychic session with me, you can visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.